Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy that you are here today. I'm even happier because right now we have one of our most amazing LoSal at Home second graders, Allison Shimatsu, who will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Take it away, Allison.
Good morning. My name is Allison. I am in second grade. I am in Dr. Tom's class. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remove all hats and hoodies and put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated, and thank you very much. Bye!
Oh, thank you so much, Allison. You crushed it. You absolutely crushed it. And just a reminder for all of our students, whether you are at LoSal at Home or whether you are in our hybrid traditional model, you are encouraged to join several of our students who will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance all year long. We're doing it via Flipgrid. It's really easy to record a video. The script is there. I would love to have every single student who would like to lead the Pledge of Allegiance to do it just like Allison did today. Now going next up, I'm gonna actually share a video that I shared last week. And the reason I'm doing this is because last Wednesday, we only had Cohort B here. But we had a very important message that I'd love for Cohort A to be able to see as well. So for those of you that are at LoSal at Home, this is the video that I had last week. So if you don't want to see it again, you can stop now. But for my Cohort A kiddos that are in our hybrid traditional model, I wanted you to really make sure you understood why we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. Have a great day, everybody.
All right. So one of our big goals for this year is to really take time to honor and celebrate different heritages and different cultures throughout the year. So we're going to get started here. So from September 15th through October 15th, we are actually in an area that is known as Hispanic Heritage Month. And this is an opportunity to recognize the people and the cultures from countries that are primarily found in Central and South America. Countries like Guatemala, Panama, Nicaragua, Brazil, even Mexico. And the reason we want to make sure that we do this is because many of these countries and many of the people have had a very large and lasting impact, not only on the people and the history of this country, but also on our culture as well. Even if you look at where we live, so many of the phrases, so many of the foods, so many of the different ideas we see day in and day out. So to kind of kick this off, I'm going to share with you a video made by several of the stars from Disney who also have Hispanic heritage. And they're going to share some of the things that they love, especially about their culture and their Hispanic heritage. I hope you enjoy it.
Every family has a story. My family roots might surprise you. I am Puerto Rican and Jewish. My mom is Jewish and my dad is Puerto Rican. I get the best of both worlds. I think it's really fun. One big physical trait I have from my dad's side is this huge curly hair. We went to Puerto Rico on a family vacation. It was like a village of Masonette, which was so much fun. I had never met any of these aunts or uncles before. We tried this delicious chicken and rice dish. It's passed on from my abuela. We visited so many islands. We had a blast. I think the importance of family is very big in my culture, and that's something that my dad has passed on to me. When I was younger, my dad would be cleaning up the house, listening to salsa music, dancing around. I cherished my family very much. I love going to the Puerto Rican Day Parade. There's singers, dancers. You're really just celebrating your culture. My heritage means everything to me. The food, the dancing, the music, and I'm really proud to be Hispanic. I'm Kayla Masonette. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm American. I embrace my curls, and I celebrate my Hispanic heritage.
My family roots are a story I want to tell. My heritage is a part of who I am. I'm part Mexican and I'm part Puerto Rican. My mom is 50% Mexican, 50% Puerto Rican, and my dad is 100% Mexican. When my great-grandmother left Mexico to go to the U.S. for a better life, she had to leave her 7-year-old daughter behind in Mexico. I can't even imagine. But she did it because she had to provide for her family back in Mexico, and I'm super grateful for her because if she wasn't brave enough, I wouldn't be here living the American dream. When my grandfather was a kid, he moved from Puerto Rico to California, and he loved to perform and dance and sing, so I think it's really cool that I get that from him. Every Christmas, it's a tradition for my family to eat tamales. The adults make the tamales, and then us kids make the cookies. My culture plays a part in my everyday life because it shaped my values and beliefs. Love, kindness. I'm Jenna Ortega, and I am Latina. I'm American. I'm a daughter, a granddaughter, and a great-granddaughter. I celebrate my Hispanic heritage.
Every family has a story. My heritage is part of who I am. On my mom's side, my grandpa and my great-grandparents came to the U.S. from Mexico to start their life. And on my dad's side, my great-grandfather came here when he was 11. Both my great-grandfathers gave back to their communities by working for the city. One was an electrician and one was in public works. My grandpa is my best friend. We collect watches together, we collect coins together, and we have a lot of fun. Both sides of my family are super close. We're always there when somebody needs someone to talk to, and I love my family. Celebrating Christmas, we all come together, and food is a big part of it. My aunts make tamales, which are always delicious. Some of the tamales are to give away to family and friends, and the rest of them are for us to enjoy. My culture has taught me a lot of things: working hard, being responsible, having fun, loving your family and friends. I'm Nicholas Bechtel. I am Mexican-American, and I am a big fan of my grandpa. I'm a son, grandson, and great-grandson, and I celebrate my Hispanic heritage.
Learning about my past has been pretty cool. My heritage is part of who I am. I'm Puerto Rican and I'm Jewish. My mom is 100% Puerto Rican. My great-grandmother was Taino Indian. My grandpa, we call him Papi, moved to America when he was 19 years old. He didn't know English, but he learned by watching TV. My mom, every summer, went to visit her grandparents in Puerto Rico, so me and my brother convinced her to take us. It was a blast. This is a picture of my mom's sea turtle, and then I made one. It looks like exactly the same. It was awesome being in the same ocean that my great-great-grandmothers were there. When everybody's together in my family, it's a humongous party. We dance salsa and sing loud music. My mom and grandma cooks arroz con pollo. Ooh, it's so good. My family has a bunch of top secret recipes, and if I ever tell anyone, oof. I'm Ariana Greenblatt. I'm Puerto Rican. I love food, family, and dancing. I can keep a secret family recipe, and I celebrate my Hispanic heritage.
My heritage is part of who I am. I'm a first-generation American. I'm half Cuban on my dad's side, and when my family was in Cuba, we were a wealthy family that owned a restaurant, and my grandfather was a ballet dancer. We thrived in Havana, but once political parties started coming in, we had to defect from the country. My family was put in a refugee camp in Florida. My family went from thriving to being poor and doing anything they could just to get by. And I respect them so much for what they went through. My great-grandmother, being the brave soul she was gonna do anything for her family. She brought my family from Florida to California, where my grandfather created a company with other Cuban artists called Cubans United by Art, and it was ballet, music, acting, and I really find it special that I can continue that legacy. I'm Isaac Presley. I'm a son, a grandson, a performer. I'm Cuban American, and I celebrate my Hispanic heritage.
So, when we're reading a book, so often we look at the author who wrote the book. But especially with our picture books, especially the one that we're doing this month, Carmela Full of Wishes, it's really important that we also look at the illustrator. And the illustrator for Carmela Full of Wishes is this guy right here, Christian Robinson. And being able to be an illustrator is just as important as being the writer because the pictures help make the story. We're able to visualize what's happening. We're able to get the emotion from the characters based off the illustrations. So I am really excited because Christian Robinson recorded a video recently where he talked about how being an illustrator allows him to be a very important part of the story. So as we're getting ready to start later this week with our first read-alouds of Carmela Full of Wishes, I thought this would be a great way for you to get a little bit more insight into something we don't always consider, the world of the illustrator. Enjoy.
Growing up, I didn't have that close of a relationship with books. I actually struggled to read. And so I was definitely drawn to books with pictures. I just love that, so much could be communicated with just an image. I was raised by my grandmother. We didn't have a lot growing up, but I at least always had a pencil, paper. I couldn't control the circumstances around me, but I could at least, decide what I wanted on that piece of paper, what sort of world I wanted to create. Early on, my drawings were just sort of influenced by whatever was around me. So like most kids, I watched Aladdin and then I drew Aladdin. I watched Jurassic Park and then I drew a dinosaur eating somebody. I don't know so much if I was motivated by people telling me that, you're talented or you're good at what you do, as much as it really was just like a form of escape and just sort of a passion of mine. When you look at a picture book, you might think story by the author and illustrations by the illustrator. The story is actually something that happens when the author and the illustrator come together. It's what happens on the page. On my books, I like to have written by or words by the author and pictures by the illustrator. Illustrating an entire book can be really overwhelming and scary. So what I like to do is start small, tiny doodles, which are storyboards, and I do them on really tiny little Post-it notes. And they sort of just help me figure out how I want to begin to tell a story. I go on to design and color and figure out what I want the characters to look like, what I want the backgrounds to look like. It's important for me to tell stories that reflect the diverse world that we live in. Children need to see themselves in books. They need to see their gender, they need to see their color, hair texture, their disability, themselves. Picture books especially are like mini children's first introduction to the world. Seeing yourself is almost like a message. It's saying, you matter. You are visible, and you're valuable. My name is Christian Robinson, and this is my brief but spectacular take on telling stories with pictures.